enough noise. Okay, do you have a savior complex? Do you think you can save everybody? Do you rush to save everybody? You just see somebody in trouble, you see somebody in pain, and you just rush to do something you can for them, even if it's none of your business. And of course, I'm running like a motor mouth, deal with it. But if you're an empath, you probably will really relate to this that most empaths suffer with savior complex. We're trying to save everybody, we're trying to look after everybody. It's for some reason, it's always our problem to make sure that everybody is okay, to make sure that everybody is safe and feeling happy, even if it's not our job, right? Uh, Empathy is a good thing, but it's also a curse for an empath. Trust me, at least I personally think so. It can be a curse if you don't know how to maintain your boundaries. And if you're tuning in for the first time, I'm Szebastian, the almost naked CEO, entrepreneur maker. Get it right, get it done. Whatever your intention strategist. So here's the thing, my empathy is not your personal ATM. My empathy is not your blank check that just because I care for people, I like to be supportive, I like to help people, doesn't mean that you get to draw a check anytime you want. You come with your card of your emotional blackmail. I'll take away as much as you can from me. And I'm just going to keep saying, okay, take more, sure. Here's the thing, even when you go to a bank, you require a PIN number because you can only withdraw if you have deposited some money in your account, right? Right? You can only withdraw if you have deposited money in your account. If you haven't deposited anything, you can't withdraw. And if you do, it is called overdraft. That means now you're going to have to pay back with additional interest. You're going to have to pay more than what you took. And that's what an empath needs to understand. You need to create boundaries. You need to make sure that people you're helping, either you're literally doing it as this as a charity, you give it whatever it is, whether it's resources, whether it's time, whatever, you give it and then you walk away from it. You don't expect anything in return. But that's also a boundary. You walk away from it, right? You do not just literally keep giving. You have to draw a line. I'm just gonna take a couple of comments. Hey, Patty, rocking on. I think you're talking about the music I played. It was fun, so I played it. Thank you for joining me. Pamela, rock that air guitar. I know. Hey, it wasn't air. You just couldn't see it. It was right here. It's the most expensive guitar. Michael Jackson gave it to me. Please don't sue me. Rebecca says yes, healthy boundaries and stay away from energy vampires. So true. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. These people become energy vampires. So few things that I want to say to people, especially if I'm helping you, if I'm doing something for you, and I want to actually talk about in a specific case that I have repeated so many times in my life, a pattern, which is because I care, because I see somebody in trouble, I decide to give them something, and then I don't know how to say no. When they come back for more, I don't know how to say no. When they come back for more, I'm struggling. I'm spraying myself too thin. I'm stressed. I'm anxious, but I don't know how to say more. No, I don't know how to stop. And it creates a cycle. It becomes such a freaking toxic cycle. I start feeling sick. I can't breathe. I still am not saying no. And here's the fun part that begins. They start blaming me for not giving enough. Remember, what I gave was an act of empathy, was an act of compassion, was an act of kindness. They are now blaming me for not giving enough. How do you define enough when I just gave it to you something that you were not entitled for? And that's what the thing is. As even if they are treating your empathy as an ATM, they need to give a PIN number. That means they should have deposited something in your empathy bank for you to know that, okay, I'm giving it because they gave me something. It's not about transaction, but there has to be a balance. Pamela says it's hard when it's who you most naturally are. I understand that, Pamela. That is actually so true for an empath. Because we are caring, because we are giving, it's such a struggle. We don't know how to say no. But what we need to realize is empathy has to begin with you. If you're not being empathetic towards yourself, you're abusive to yourself. What you're doing is you're actually destroying yourself. You're not being empathetic, you're being cruel. So if you're cruel to yourself, how can you truly be empathetic to anybody else? You cannot empathize with others if you don't know how to empathize with yourself. That's the biggest thing. So remember, if you are being an empath, they have to enter a PIN number. You're not an ATM without any limits, and you're not an ATM which you don't have anything in the account, but you're still expected to keep paying. That's not how it works. The biggest thing is when you're doing something out of compassion, when you're doing something because of your generosity, that's not their entitlement. Your generosity is not somebody's entitlement. That means you're choosing to give something because you care, because you want to build them up, because you want to let them know that, hey, I've been there, I understand what you're going through, I want to help you with the resources I have. Remember, with the resources I have, not beyond that. You can't, it's a very old saying, you can't give somebody else if your own cup is empty. You need to first fill your cup, and then all overflow can go. And that analogy can mean it can be used in so many different ways. But that's the thing: if your cup is empty, how are you going to give it to somebody else? You can't. You have nothing to give. You're empty. So you need to remember that your cup needs to be filled. Then you can give somebody else. And also, my peace is not disposable. Just because I want to be kind to you, just because I want to support you, doesn't mean that now you have the entitlement, now you have the freedom to dispose of my peace. If my kindness is making you happier, is making your life better, if is giving you some peace of mind, and you're finally able to sleep again, you're finally able to dream again, and you're finally able to feel like, okay, there is hope for me, that doesn't mean you get to take my peace away and dispose it off in a bin. It has to be respected. Again, that comes back to the boundary. I'm going to take some more comments. I think, Pam, you're talking about when I said generosity versus entitlement. Yes, they think that it's an expectation. No, your generosity cannot be expected. It should be appreciated. Love that idea of emotional bank account. Absolutely. I've learned it the hard way, and I want everybody else to know. Next time you're struggling to say no, just ask them, have they deposited anything back in your account for you to be able to give them? If there is nothing deposited, again, back to the same, if your cup is empty, how the freak are you going to give anything out of that cup to anybody else? It does make it a lose-lose situation, Pam. I absolutely agree. And thank you, Patty. I appreciate you. Rebecca says there has to be a beautiful giving and receiving harmonious exchange. Exactly. Harmony of that exchange needs to bring harmony. It needs to bring joy. It needs to bring happiness to everybody, to the one who is giving and to the one who's receiving. If the one who's receiving is excited, is succeeding, progressing, but the one who is actually giving is now unhappy, it's no more an empathy exchange. It's no more a kindness. It's solving a problem and creating another one, probably a bigger one, because if you're an empath, probably you're helping more than one person. So if somebody is becoming, as you were saying, Rebecca, if somebody has become your energy vampire, they're not just sucking away your energy, they're taking away the happiness of other people as well who you might be helping already. Rebecca says to grow, empower, and heal each other. Absolutely, absolutely. The best power of empathy is that you're doing it because you want to give some of your fortune, some of your happiness, some of your resources to somebody else who doesn't have them. And that's what we need to keep in mind. You're giving what's possible. You're giving what's a little bit extra because you want to expand it for others as well, not because you want to make yourself bankrupt, you know. And the most important thing I want to say, and this happens with me, with friends, with clients, with family, with friends, with neighbors, that when you start giving your time, when you start giving your skill, because apparently I know technology well, apparently I know social media well, apparently I know branding well, and 10 other things in my life, and then people come in and say, "Can I pick your brain for 5 minutes? Can I pick your brain for 10 minutes? Can I ask you a question?" You help once, you help twice, but do you know what happens then? You're giving away your bread and butter. They start taking more and more and more. 5 minutes become 10, 10 become 20, and then become an hour, and you're still not getting paid. That's where I learned to draw my line. I reminded myself my skill and my time is not charity. I learned the hard way that you cannot mix your business and charity together. Now, my principle is if I want to be charitable, I make income, save money. From that saved money, what I feel I'm comfortable giving away, I work for homelessness. I work for AIDS awareness. I work for cancer awareness. I do all these charitable things, but out of the extra resources that I have, that I know if I give away, it's not going to affect me financially, emotionally, or any other way, or socially. It will just help somebody else, and I will sleep happy because, after all, we're human beings. There's a little bit selfishness that even when I'm giving something to somebody else, I want to feel happy. I want to feel good about myself. That's true. Anybody who says it's not that, bullshit. But Pam is saying life is about balance. Think breathing. You have to breathe in and then breathe out. Can't just do one or the another. So freaking true, right? If you just breathe out and hold it there for 3 minutes, I'll be probably at your funeral, right? So we can't do that. Excellent analogy, Pamela. I love that. So that's what I mean, guys. If you're an empath, you need to create boundaries. You need to be more firm with your no. You're not saying no because you're cruel. You're saying no because you're saying that's only how much I can give, and that's only how much you can expect from me, because you're not entitled. My generosity means I'm giving you something that I don't owe you. I'm giving you because I'm making a choice. I'm giving you because I want to. Does not mean you can come back and say, where is more? That's entirely up to me. And I'm going to say this even in business scenario. Even if you're my client, even if I'm your client, I can only get what I've signed up for. If I want more, I need to deposit more in my bank, in the bank, right? If I want to withdraw more, I need to deposit in my bank. It's that simple. And Dr. Patty is saying important, giving to what you believe in feels terrific. Giving to freeloaders feels like abuse. Oh my God, that is so spot on, Patty. And that's why I say, it's self-abuse. You're being unkind to yourself. You're literally destroying yourself if you go beyond what you're capable of. So remember, no matter what happens, be kind, be empathetic, use your generosity, use your extra resources, help people. But remember, where help becomes a stress, an anxiety, a pain, you need to stop. I say this because I've been there. I can tell you very frankly, right now, and I'm going to come back a lot more. I'm going to talk about my anxiety, my mental health, but I just want to throw in there. I know this because every single day I have to get up and fight my anxiety. I've never said this before on air. I'm saying it right now. I have to fight my anxiety for different reasons, but I have to fight my anxiety. I have to remind myself I'm going to be okay. I always remind myself I'm still here. I made it so far, so it's going to be okay. That's why if I start investing too much into people who are not giving back, who are expecting something they're not entitled to, I'm abusing myself. I'm self-sabotaging. I think I saw one of the lives that Pamela was actually doing, which was about self-sabotage. So guys, I'm just going to put her name up again. Go ahead and check her on YouTube, Reset Your Life with Pamela Hartnell, and you'll actually see an entire series about self-sabotage. I saw that, I loved it, and I think that's one of the things that's so deeply affected me as well. So that's it. Don't self-sabotage just because you're an empath. Maintain a boundary. And that's where I'll stop. I just want to say once again, I'm here because I care and because I give a damn. So until next, dream big and make it happen intentionally. I'll see you next time.